Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Beyond the Headlines. Today, we take a closer look at the stories shaping our communities and our future, going past the surface into the context, the impact, and the conversations that matter. I'm DJ Moises. Today, we shine a spotlight on innovation and resilience in the future of work. Joining us is Eddie Ybañez, a young Cebuano technopreneur and founder of Pasajob, the Philippines' first referral-based recruitment platform. We'll talk about his journey as a Cebuano-based startup founder, the challenges of building a tech company, and how Pasajob is helping bridge skill mismatches and employment gaps across the country. Good afternoon, Eddie.
Good afternoon, DJ. Thank you for inviting me here.
Yeah, actually, this is a welcome conversation considering the storms that Cebu and the Philippines is going through outside, no? And also inside us. So it's time that we also talk about possibilities, no? To talk about something that would inspire our viewers. So my first question for you today, before we get into Pasajob and what it will do to the country, the serious stuff, I think people are also curious that you are wearing many hats. No, you are a technopreneur. You're also a leader. You're also an innovator. So some of them might be curious, who is Eddie Ybañez, and what was it like growing up?
Okay. Murag deep lagi yun na question. No? So, yeah, I grew up, I'm a Cebuano gyud, no? I grew up sa province. I grew up sa Malabuyok. It's a 4-hour drive away from the city. And then, so of course, like when I grew up, parang, kuan gid siya, kanang struggle sa tiyagamay. My mom is a single parent. She's a teacher. And then, I have a sibling, akong sister. So, duha rami basically. And then, after graduating sa high school, lisod man gid kayo ang life. So, I got very lucky because I managed to get a DOST scholarship. So, mo actually reason why I got into college. So, I enrolled in kay tech man akong background, I enrolled into an IT na kuan sa CIT. And then, bisan og naay ka ng scholarship, so of course, lisod man gihapon. So, nag-part-time ko. I used to work at KFC part-time. So, mura kong service crew, naglutog mga manok, and then go to classes in the morning. And then, eventually, nahuman gyud ako ang akong course, no. And then I joined a company, so which is thankful sad kayo ko kay when we started. Apil among janitor, apil among CEO, 10 rami ka buok. And then when I left the company, I managed 70 devs. So nidako gyud siya maayo. And then I think that taught me how to like run a business. So I left the company kay I started my own. So murag daghan kay kog learnings didto. And then now we're here. So like I think we have some conversations about the things that I've been doing. Murag focus ko sa tech, and then I now have a traditional na business pod. No, so mo na siyang murag kung i-shortcut na to ang story.
Yes, so sige, let's dive deeper on each of the chapters of the story. So you mentioned that your mom is a teacher. What is she teaching?
High school teacher siya.
High school teacher. No? Any particular subject that she's specializing? English
yung focus niya. Katuanan kay nino kay may mom god, grabe kay na siya ka. I think tanan mo sa mga teachers, no, disciplinarian kay na silang anak. Growing up murag ka ng dapat dili ko magbinuwang sa school kay basin hibawan sa kong mama. Full na kayo ka kuan akong mama na as much as possible iyang i-avoid nga siya may mag-handle sa subject where I am in kay murag di siya ganahan nga kanang inana ba so grabe kay siya
perception of a conflict of interest.
Yeah, murag siya. So I think tungod ana nga experience ba murag daghan kay kog nakatunan niya. And then my mom good sad god growing up dili sad sayo niyang life basically like siya rin nagasto sa iyang self para makaskwela, para makahuman sa iyang kanang kurso. Like, she used to like sell dia sa Colon, kanang sa street, as a street vendor, as part-time. So, lisod-lisod sa diyag kaagi. So, like, schooling here sa CIT na, pag college, murag-murag siya akong inspiration no, na kung nakaya sa akong mom magswerte pa ko kay nako allowance sa DOST. So murag mas sayon technically sa ako nga side dapat. And it gives me inspiration to like to push through.
Were you always an achiever growing up?
Feeling nako kay tungod lagi sa akong mom na teacher no like kinahanglan jud ka mo pakitang gilas ba kay like mo may kaanak ka ni inani niya or gabinuwa ra ka sa eskwelahan. So yeah, when I started sa elementary murag dapat nata i-maintain na grades, nata i-maintain na honors. And then pag-abot sa high school mausad gihapon, but my mom katuoran kay student kay my mom always say mo god na like actually kanang honors nimo sa elementary ug high school dili mo na siya importante. What's important is the learning. Kay ayang gingon gud ani like katong namgud time mo disappointed kay ko sa akong self ba kay murag wa jud ako na achieve akong ganahan. Insya inig trabaho nimo dili man na mangutana ang imuhang boss kung na-honor ba ka pag elementary, na-honor ba ka pag high school. But actually mo focus na siya sa imong learning. So I think bisag murag ganahan ta mo at ganahan gid tag naagi ta sa top. But dili stick to siya, but dili siya kanang ingon nga dapat mao ni imong abuton, murag kanang murag dictatorial nga style ba. Yeah.
More of nurturing.
Yes, yeah.
The reason why I had a slight reaction earlier pag mentioning mo og English teacher, because normally man good the pattern and the influence of an English teacher to a child, it would gravitate towards something related to communication. I'm not hearing a lot of patterns of them being influenced into technology. So, what got you into technology?
Yeah, so yeah, this is an interesting story. Like I think kadaghan na ako nag-istorya. So, pag ang akong first mag-good nga ganahan is lawyer. Yeah.
Just as I was anticipating. Okay. That's why, okay.
Kay ano, I found a book magod sa akong mom na murag kanang Bill of Rights ba to or something. So, ako siya gibasa-basa since elementary, college, high school. And then, sa Malabuyok, like very far away na town sa city, pag third year na ko, ni-donate, I don't know kung kinsa, ni-donate og mga computers. So suddenly, nikalit mig na ay computer lab. The problem, walay kay ba mo gamit og computers. So ang among computer lab, naa siya, but sirado siya. Akong gibuhat, inigabi, mukat-kat ko sa mukat-kat, like public naman yun. But mukat-kat ko sa room, mag-experiment ko dito sa computers, tanaw ko mga tutorials. I think katualan kay murag ang naka-install dito is Flash. Ang Flash mo na siya murag gamay nga programming, so base lang. So mundo na interesado jud ko sa inana. And then when our teacher decided, my lab teacher decided to open that lab, and then naay nangagubang ang computer nakahibaw man siya nga kay ba ko moayo kay I think mamatay ako experience dito siyog kuri-kuri. So ako na gitagaan sa yawi sa lab basically. So ako na nag-manage sa lab. And then tungod ato murag na-inspire nako na murag nindot madini nga technology no kay like labi na katong programming apart nga pwede nimo na siya ikuan mo na iyang buhaton. And then mo na to siya ang story good nga pag college ni apply ni take jud kuan kanang IT na course.
Okay. So imong story actually, I remembered also Bill Gates' story, although he's the elite version, because that was also shared in one of the books. Now I think I forgot the title of the book, but it's Malcolm Gladwell, and then it spoke about 10,000 hours. And the reason why he was very good with tech, it's because he had his early 10,000 hours before the breakthrough of technology. So in your case, did you always imagine yourself to be one day a technopreneur or a founder, or did life just brought you here?
I think what you could nag-expect actually, because like mura magutag, which is usual siguro sa mga like sa ato majority of the kanang mga estudyante or kanang mga batan-o no na ingnan ta sa tong mama na paningkamot ha kay para nindot kag trabaho gid na siya basically, like after school trabaho mao gid na siya murag imo na imong goal nga nindot kag trabaho. And then sa family side wala man good me background pod nga kanang sa negosyo sa business na side ba. So when I started my business here in the city, like wa jud ko kaila actually no. I'm very thankful na ang akong previous boss, murag ni tabang siya. But aside from that, murag wala jud ko kaila kung kinsa akong duulon, unsaon ni siya. Siguro mura lang siya, mura magud ko kanang pagsugod og trabaho nindot kag trabaho nindot kag pagkabutang, but mura magud siya kanang ni sud sa akong, I think na influence ko sa akong college days. I think na-interview niyo si Ma'am Cherry, no, ang dean sa CIT.
Yeah.
Ang iyang kong giingon is mas murag nag-advocate mo gud siya nga instead of mugawas ka para magitag nindot nga trabaho ani sa Pilipinas para mutabang ka. Yung murag i-extend pa nato na siya na instead of magtrabaho ka, what if maghimo kag mga trabaho. So I think mo na siya ang sa entrepreneurship na side ba na as much as possible murag mas ganahan gi ka nga mas daghan pa ka nga matabangan. Like okay man kung nindot kag trabaho na ko sweldo, mag-donate ka, no, but murag mas better sad good ka nang makapangita kag paagi ba nga daghan kag mapatrabaho. So I think mo na siya nag-trigger nako to really kanang push through in learning the steps on how to like do business. Yan na.
Actually, you already covered the next question because I was also curious. Unless if you have an additional answer, I was actually curious. What was the aha moment when you thought to yourself that I want to build something new? Was that the aha moment, or you have another story also that led you to believe that I think it's time that I should create something?
Yeah, so mura magud ni siya ang pag-start magud sa kanang tech na business o kanang traditional business ba lahi gid kay siya, no. So basically sa tech business maram gud tag grabe kay tag exposure in terms of how technology improves lives, our daily task inana. Unya ang first magud ako nga tech startup kay murag nag-answer gid siya sa akong main nga problem. I always travel and then every time adto kog airport ato nga time like magganahan mong tag tipid ba sa barato so kan mga kadlawon nga flights gani. Problema lisod jud kay pangitag sakay ipadung didto. So mo to akong first business kanang taxi nga ride hailing. Mura siya kanang naghimo kog something nga solution, text based pa to sa una, like mo text sa tanang mga drivers nga naay pasahero diri dapita, ni adtuon din niya. And then murag na realize nako ba na kung kani nga mga problema naay willing mo bayad ani. So nindot ni siya himuon nga kanang himuon siya nga business ba. So mo to siya naka-trigger gyud and then na-relate na lang to na murag kay of course kuan man nimo kanang safe comfort zone man nimo ang trabaho, di ba? So murag mo decide ka mo stay ka sa imong trabaho and then having this like steady income or kanang mo risk ka. So I think mo na to ang daghan man kay opportunities but ang nagpalabang gyud nako padong sa entrepreneurship is katong impact ba na like kanang this is a problem worth solving but the impact actually na you're doing murag mas dako pa siya sa imong self. So I think mo to siya ang kumiyong kag di man siya ingon aha moment siguro but mo to nakapa-trigger gyud ba nga murag willing i-risk na lang nato tanan.
So this one, what the story that you actually shared also to me is very helpful to our viewers because normally when at least for majority of the people within my circle who wants to take a leap from working to becoming an entrepreneur, the question normally that they ask is dapit ang kwarta.
Yes.
'Di ba?
Yeah.
But I'd like that you highlight which is focusing more on the pain point, the value and the impact. Can you articulate more on that?
Sige. So kani magod ko mo focus magud ka sa kwarta. Of course, the moment na the first thing na mo happen, dili gyud na siya smooth sailing, na gyud na problema. Mundang na ka kay wa may kwarta. Like na ibuhat nimo ni fail ka. Murag ang passion nimo to pursue ba. That's for me, no. So murag feeling nako instead of focusing kung asa ang kwarta, maybe focus on kung mabuhat nimo ni unsa may tabo, unsa may impact, pila ka tawo ang kanang manindot ang ilang kinabuhi, pila ka tawo imong matabangan. The moment magud nga mo hunahuna ka bigger than yourself, then mura kag suddenly you have this courage ba to kung kapuyon ka, mura siya it gives you kanang it gives you kanang strength na mapadayon ka kay kung mabuhat nimo ni dili ra man ikaw mo'y ma-happy. I think magod kung mo-focus mo ka sa imong self, sa imong ganahan, sa imong wants, sa imong mga hopes, kanang mo-compromise magud ka kung the moment ka na challenges maabot ba. Mo-compromise ka kay imo ra man ang kagalingon. But kung imo na siyang i-apply sa kadaghan ng tao, then lisod na siya i-compromise kadaghan man ang affected. So more siya.
Was your background in the family or the influence of your mother or your being a Cebuano affecting also that kind of approach in entrepreneurship?
I think so, yeah. Cause like, ako mo guni siyang gi-attribute tanan gyud kung unsa ang akong experience no unsa ka lisod. Lisod siya nga lisod. Like, I've tried, sa akong family growing up, I tried eating nga kanang patis lang kanon. Yan na ba, lisod bang gyud siya niya. Mura gani kag, naakay push ba na ganahan ka ma-improve siya, and ikaduha, ganahan ka nga maabot ang time nga dili na ni siya mahitabog usab. No, so murag ka na nga drive ba. And then I think inigabot ni mo nga point nga na covered na imong basic needs kana atong gistoryahan last time na makakaon na ka sa sakto nga kuan. And then murag ma-feel nimo ba na what you have, murag muwish ka nga what if ang uban sad inani pod, di ba? Mas daghan sad kag mapalabang ba. So I think kana siya I don't know kung kanang specific ba na kay specific ra siya nahitabo diri sa Cebu or ano, but basically I can really attribute it kung how I grew up and unsa ang akong mga challenges na na-experience. Murag that defines me kung unsa akong gipangbuhat karon ug unsa akong gipang-focusan karon.
And so thank you for sharing that part of your life, no. And so now let's go into the next chapter, which is the startup life. No, you've also gone through highs and lows. No, what was the hardest moment, and how did it also shape you to be the CEO that you are today?
I think kadto sa akong first, I think namagod siya murag kapila ko kabasa ni sa book no na kana ang first di mga business daw dako jud kay chance nga mo fail. So murag starting that business, murag careful kay ko standan, grabe kay ko ka perfectionist, and ang akong approach mo good sa una is kanang as long as mo deliver ka kay like mo na siya. Kinahanglan magyud ta nga murag top of the line ang naa ni mo nga mga team. And then ang akong nakalimtan is ang character no na ang relationship. So very important na when you choose your people, dapat ka nang align mo in terms of character ba. Kay kuan magud siya kanang the moment na magkalisod-lisod, biyaan ka or kanang magubot, then affected kay customer actually. And lisod ka siya ibangon basically. So yeah, when padong na to ending ang katong akong first nga venture, lisod jud kay siya, grabe kay ko gipang agian. But applying my learnings ato, of course, like buram guni siya, number one, before nimo ma-apply imong learning, dapat i-admit nimo unsa imong mistake. Kaya without admitting it, then it's just a justification and mura ra siya gwa, diba? And then the moment na i-admit nimo, then that's your tuition fee para learning nimo sa sunod. And then you apply that to your next venture.
There was something that you spoke about, alignment of values ba? And I hope our viewers were able to capture that, because I think, at least from my little experience also on being an entrepreneur, working with other people, at least from my experience, is not just about capitalization. No? For me, it's close to deciding the same way we decide whether we marry the person or we don't. Because this will be the very people I will be working with.
Yes.
Most waking hours of the day. So it's very hard to work and collaborate with people in which their values don't share with mine, because that will also impact every decision, whether it's operational decision or client decision or people decisions. I hope our viewers were able to capture that. You seem like you want to add something.
No, like that's really correct, no. And then the good thing man gud nga after ato nga first venture ni focus pa gid ta sa kaning human resource and kaning sa job generation, which is basically kung imuha gyud siyang i-dig deeper ba, it boils down to the character, to the values, kung mo hire kag tawo sa imong pangitaon, di ba? Nga skills lang ba or kani ba or trainable ba siya? So kanang murag ni-relate ra sad siya sa sunod ba kung unsa atong gipangbuhat.
But before we move to the next chapter, which is Pasajob, there are also kind of mga quotes that we also see on social media feeds, but that people see the success, but they don't see the sacrifices, no, that brought you, no, to the point of where you are today. So, what did you have to sacrifice or let go, no, to get you here?
Yeah, I think it dagandaghan siya basically because of course dili man naingon na kanang naa kaning point in time at unless grabe kay kakaswerte, no, kay like there's luck man sad gihapon, but majority of the time effort gid siya kaayo, no, it's the effort that you put in that makes you successful and a little bit of luck, so more of effort. In terms of sacrifices, mura ko growing up, murag wa ko ka-experience actually og kanang naman gud tay kanang phase sa life na kanang naglingaw-lingaw kaya na I think na-skip na ko na nga part. No, so when people ask me kanang unsa ko nga time mo start to work, unsa ko time mo stop og work, so I my always answer is like I have a work balance. But di siya work-life balance ba. Kay from early sa morning hantod kadlawon, murag na siya imong gi-focus ba. But I think for me man god dili sa ingon nga kanang applicable siya sa tanan, no, but the things that I'm doing man god dili man god siya murag kanang gingon nila ba nga the moment na you enjoy what you're doing it doesn't feel like work, no, so murag mamili man sa kog butang na akong pangbuhaton na gives you joy ba, no, so mo nang I think mo na reason also nganong na kaya ra nako siya.
So yes, no, I also noticed that you're doing diverse, no, a lot of diverse things, no. Pero you've mentioned about the importance of having joy on what you do. So among the things that you are doing now, whether about technology, about people, and about impact, no, which among these three excites you the most?
Yeah, I think so of course kung mo high level ta focus ta sa impact, but basically ang kato akong traditional business that which I launched 2 years ago, the coffee na business hobby, murag passion magud nako gid ang coffee. So I think mao siguro na kay murag kung ma-stress ko, murag focus lang ko dito, maulian ako basically. Ang story mo gud ani nga coffee god, like namo koy GERD. So dili ko pwede daghan og coffee. Actually bawal jud ko kape kay namo koy GERD, acid man na siya. So mo nang naghimo mig blend na murag GERD friendly siya, di kay siya acidic. And then tungod kay na ako'y GERD, so I can only take 1 coffee a day. So grabe kayo ka-stricto sa akong kape. And then when I started to learn how to make good coffee, murag I started coffee first. Mura na siya kanang after the stress sa katong sa tech na side sa mga, because of course aside from the startups katong sa Pasajob, we have lots of startups as well. Because we created this DX form, a venture builder company that has invested into a lot of tech startups also. So at the end of the day, murag, when we started Coffee First, ini gabi alas 10 sa gabi, kasagaran makitaan minimo diha sa among first branch. Ako may nagbarista diha antod alas 12. Kaya murag pawa siya sa stress ba na lagi kay buhaton something na while you're thinking of something, thinking of some solution sa problema niya. Wala lang ka nang naghimo kag kape. Serve kag kape.
So it's like therapeutic.
Yeah, mura siya ginana. So kung mangutana ka sa tanan ako mga ventures unsay pinakalingaw, I think kana kay mo na siya kung stress reliever basically.
Sige, before we get into pinakalingaw, no, let's classify that as the next chapter, no. So let's go back to this chapter, which is Pasajob, no. So I think this is related to what you mentioned earlier about impact and also about pain point, no. What problems did you see in the way Filipinos find jobs and why Pasajob can actually fix this pain point?
Yeah. So basically sa current setup now, there are lots of kanang job portal nga platform, no? A lot of them pwede pa uban mag-post sa social media, etc. But if you look closely manggod kung unsay mga namay study ani, actually I forgot the percentage kung pilay percentage no, but the good hires, if you focus on good hires ba, it's actually from referrals. Like ngano man kay naa magud sila yung relationship, sila mo nakailadaan didto, so mo nang gi-refer nila sa company. Like example, if you're operating a BPO company, you have lots of employees, daghan kay na sila employee referral programs, diba? Kay mas and based sa ilang data sad, mas nidugay and mas maayo nga hires ang katong gipang refer sila empleyado. Kay ngano man kaila naman sila daan na to, kahibalon sila unsay batasan, kabalo sila nga murag ang culture wise dol sa ilaha. So mo na siya na come up na mo ang kanang Pasajob, kay murag mo na siya ang kuwang na murag kung naay referral ang job platform, then it actually makes sense no na you're advertising this ad sa mga tao, but what if na nakoy trabaho but daghan kog kaila, di ba? And then on top of that, then we're actually parang murag na additional benefit because we're adding kanang other sources of income sa ilaha no. Like example, if nagbarista ka anya murag struggle kay like imong sweldo dili kay siya na kadako, but nakidaghang mga kaila pod na pwede mo ma-refer, then actually you can earn sa mga referral fees because mo man na ang feature nito sa Pasajob no, na siya referral fees mo diretso sa imong GCash.
Sige. So let's dive deeper into to that no. What exactly does Pasajob do no, and how does it work?
So Pasajob kuha ni siya kanang mo man ni siya ang long chain job referral platform. Long chain kay example, nakita nga job naman ka mo fit man si Eddie, ako ni refer si Eddie. Imo kong gi-refer. Nya ko na naman ko'y kumpanya, na naman kong gipangbuhat. So refer nako sila. Si Tanjay refer nako. Kung madawat siya, kitang duha actually makakuha ta sa referral fee. So mo na siya kanang kung pangitaon na to tong saktong candidate ba, mo takod siya, mo anana siya. So in terms of scope, in terms of reach, imagine the reach nga murag gigamit nimo ang kanang social capital sa atong mga users nga kung naa sila aside from them helping sa ilang amigo nga makadawat og trabaho, din naka-earn jud sila additional na income. And then we since we launched Pasajob, we integrated this with GCash. So now mo na ang product, ang pangan sa brand sa among GCash is GJobs. So na siya sud sa GCash actually. Sayon na kay siya. Musud na ka sa GCash, na dito ang mga GSave, na GJobs. When you open it, then all of the available jobs in the platform are there. You can refer. And then kung madawat to imong gi-refer or nadawat tong gi-refer sa imong gi-refer, then automatically mosulod siya sa imong GCash account. So inana ra siya ka simple gyud.
No, actually, I knew about Pasajob, but I did not know that if you refer and then you refer, so it's like many degrees later, everybody in the stream of referrals can actually receive a reward. That is
Long
new
chain.
to me. No,
Wala
it's-
siyang patented long chain job referral platform.
So yeah, that's why it's called long chain. So the name itself, it's Pasajob. It also sounds very Filipino. Was it intentional?
Yes. So referring something meaning you're passing on it, di ba? So,
Like pasaload.
Pasa gid siya, pasaload. Pasabay kung nakaipapalit apil, di ba? Kani gipasa nimo ang job. So mo na siya Pasajob.
So can you articulate then more about what they can expect once they successfully make a referral?
Yeah. So, when you refer a person sa Pasajob na platform or even sa GJobs na platform, because you can also use it sa mo ang web, no? But if you're a GCash user, so of course you can use GJobs. When you refer someone, makita nimo ang mga status dito, kung na-hire na ba sila, gi-interview na ba sila, inana. And then, kung katong imong gi-refer, naasa gi-refer, makita sa nimo dito. But although dili siya kanang mga personal details, like I think first letter dayon or name lang and then first letter sa last name, wala na yung makita. But you can actually monitor the status sa ilang application. And then the moment na madawat na to siya, then you get a notification also. And then kung unsa to'y namang dito computation na, no? Because of course kung daghan kay mo ga-refer,
Daghan mo share.
daghan tag share. So murag makita sa di mo dito pila imong share atong nga part. Kung ikaw pinakauna, of course ikaw pinakadako. Kung naa ka sa pinaka-last. So na siya ina lang ang mga formula basically. But yeah, simple lagi siya actually. Nya mo nang integrated niyo sa GCash, diretso siya sa imong account.
That's a huge advantage on the talent
Yeah.
himself or herself, and also on the one referring. On the part of the employer, how does Pasajob also make hiring easier and smarter for them?
Yes. Sa Pasajob as sa employer na dashboard, lahi man gud ni ang unique ni ang problema actually sa Pasajob when it comes to employers. Ang ilang problema is daghan kayo ang nang-apply. Kaya I think because of the virality of the platform, diba nga mo jump siya sa mga referrals, so expect jud ka nga daghan kayong ma-apply. So among gibuhat is naami gi-incorporate na which is mo relate ni siya later sa atong katong resume na to, na murag natay murag gibutang dito gi-embed nga AI platform or AI module dito na mo check based sa imong gi-post nga job and based sa iyang profile kinsay murag kasagaran nimo na murag kinahanglan nimo i-check ba. So makita na dito mura siya gi-rank siya based on skill sets, and then it will help you kanang prioritize kung kinsa gyud imong need labi na kung dali kag hire. So basically kana, and of course katong daghan jud kang mo-apply sa imo kung nangita kag kanang frustrated na ka kay nag-post ka but gamay ka ni apply, so probably ang Pasajob ang right for you.
Because people are more encouraged to
Yes.
do the referral.
Yes, yeah.
Sige. So that's with the aid of artificial intelligence or
Yes,
AI,
yeah.
no? On
So,
the
namin gibutan
employer
dito.
side.
And then nasad mi gi-add, so which is mo niya akong gisuot ron. So basically my folio, we will be launching this month, this November. So nami mga campaigns kaping gibe pang buhat actually, but my folio, it's a standalone, it's a separate platform that aims to help the graduating students naman pod. So mo na yung focus. So unsa man ang my folio, it's basically a free resume builder. So you just put your details there. It will create a beautifully designed resume. Now you can download as PDF, you can submit. There's a public link if you want to use the public link. But on top of that, it gives you smart recommendations based sa imong profile nga gi-upload from Pasajob. So it feeds on available job posting sa Pasajob. Kita nimo dito nga based ani nga akong experience, then probably basin ganahan ka mo apply or mo refer aning job. And then on top of that, nami AI mock interviewer or AI mock interviews. So unsa man ni siya? Example, ganahan lang ko mo practice una before ko mo apply kay of course interviewon jud ka after ka mo apply. So AI powered na siya na based sa imong job position nga gi-applyan and based sa imong profile nga gi-upload, it asks you the relevant questions and then mga follow-up questions, and then when you answer, it gives you kanang recommendations asa imong strengths, unsa imong needs for improvement, mohatag siya assessment nimo para ikaw ma-ready na ka when the moment na you apply mo apply na jud ka actual sa job, then empowered na ka, ready na ka to apply. Yeah.
Sige, because I think we have a material that we
yeah.
can share to our
Sige,
viewers on
ato-
how my folio actually works. So
Atong EVO.
yes.
Sige, well, nag-prepare sila.
Yeah.
So basically, simple raman ni siya nga steps, 3 features: create resume, smart job recommendations, and then AI mock interviews. So mo ni siya, no. So mag-create ka resume, dali ra kayo, mo-input kasi mong details, imong asa ka dapit nagpuyo, unsa imong experiences, imong skill sets. Yeah, and then mo na siya mga different designs, pwede ka magpili-pili mga designs.
Designs for the CV.
Yeah, for the CV. Pwede mo download doon after, nag-publish. And then it gives you smart recommendations based sa imong profile. Display na siya mga jobs, unsay duol nimo, unsay related nimo. And kung ready na ka mag-practice, so do we have the AI mock interviews. It asks you relevant questions, and then based sa imong answers, it gives you kana
Assessment.
areas to improve based ani imong tubag, diba? So nindot siya actually, it's free ra. That platform is free. You don't have to pay anything. And I think it helps also sa mga graduating students na to, ready na sila, employable sila, ready na sila mo face sa outside world.
Actually, this to me is helpful because do not come from this generation in which when the CVs were created, it had to be manually formatted,
Yeah.
not just the content. But the good thing about this one is, aside from the CV, at least from what I am seeing, I think I like the mock interview part because it gives them already the chance to practice
Yes.
on how the interview will go, and there's also a specific assessment. So that's cool. No, so let's digress a little bit before you got into this one. So can you go back to what were the pain points then that led to this solution?
Yeah. So of course we partnered with GCash now as GJobs.
Mm.
We have 3.5 million users na now when we started, I think 2 years ago. So marag in terms of traction, although like siguro wala pa kay kadungog sa Cebu kay we started in Manila mo god. So actually ako rang nasa Cebu in terms of sa management team na mo. The rest are in Manila. We started there. When we launched it sa GCash, kasagaran namong mga users, I think 80+% of them are blue collars. So of course kung blue collars, kasagaran dili kayo sila basin lisod sa sila mo buhat og resume, so murag struggle jud kayo sa ilaha. So mo na siyang number 1 and number 2, daghan man gud kay mga employers pod that are looking for white collar na mga applicants. So to improve ang kanang resume creation sa among user base, kanang ma-polish ilang resume, and to add more on the white collar na mga job, mga applicants kay daghan big jobs kuwang mig kanang applicants. So morning we created my folio. Now we made it easier for the graduating students to build their resume. If they don't wanna apply sa Pasajob, it's okay. At the end, they have this downloadable PDF na resume na they can print or they can email to kanang manual nila nga mga application. Di wala ra problema gyud. But if they're interested to apply for our available jobs, then they can practice also. They can practice kung unsang interview na, unsang assessment nila, then they get that assessment. And then at the end, it will help our kanang mga employers kanang find the right talent. Kaya we're hoping na ma-improve. Of course, ang AI magud na to nga module, it depends on the data that you put in. So the more data that you put in, so the more siya nga smart siya mo recommend, yun na ba?
Yeah. Sige. So I also agree. Now we're moving towards the next chapter, but before we close the chapter, I agree because I've been through several corporate careers also before I transitioned to become an entrepreneur, and data would really support that successful hires are mainly driven by employee referrals. But when one of the employee communication that I had in one of the companies, somebody raised a good question that had to be addressed. So I'm throwing that question to you now. And this is usually from the baby boomer kind of generation. So are we now changing to who you know when it comes to employability?
I don't think so. It's referrals are just basically channels, no. Na it feeds into the funnel. Kung kinsang murag budako ang imong scope, instead of like getting 10 applications, 100 applications, then you get thousands. And based of that, so that's why we were incorporating AI module also to like to sift through the profiles para you can be recommended with the best suited na mga applicants kay daghan man kayo nag-apply. So it's not who you know, because at the end of the day the platform doesn't decide kinsa i-hire.
They go through the process.
Yes, yeah.
Like every
Yes.
other talent. No?
Yeah. But it's just that I think data-wise, majority of the good hires lang good lagi are from referrals. Because I think it's because like you know them and you already parang you can vouch for them. That the reason why you're referring them, it's not because you're good friends, but you can vouch for them.
Actually, when we're having this particular conversation, I'm just, although it might be a bad analogy, but it's also like dating, diba? At the end of the day, it's the two of them who decides.
Yes.
It's not just one party.
Yes.
So it's not about who you know. But there are also people who would match because they know the person and they know the other person and they think they're a good match. And so they go through the usual process and decide from there, which is also what this referral program is about.
Yeah.
So the likelihood is higher because the referrer, the person doing the referral actually knows the company and also knows the candidate, and there's a potential match. So I just realized it now while having this conversation. Now let's move into the coffee chapter. So this one, it looks positively odd. Positive because it's entrepreneurial. No. But odd because you've always been associated with technology. So I know you've already introduced that part of the chapter earlier, but what sparked that love for coffee?
So, the people sometimes say mga na coffee daw fuels tech.
See,
Coffee fuels tech, di ba?
articulate more.
If you manage a dev house, you will understand the devs, of course, beating the deadlines, kinahanglan strength, kinahanglan coffee. So majority of the tech people actually really loves coffee. Okay, it keeps them awake, it gives them strength, murag na ba. And then, so of course, I think mo na siya reason also why I love coffee so much. And I think because of my love for coffee, that's the reason why I have GERD. Murag na over siya ba. So tungod sa akong GERD, pilian
So
na
it
kay
was
ko-
coffee that triggered it.
Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe.
Sige. Oh,
Maybe.
maybe. Okay, maybe. Okay, continue.
Maybe. So, mo na siya. Tungod na, pilian kay ko sa akong kape kay 1 coffee per day raman. If masaya pag inom, di wala na. Guba na akong adlaw. Diba? So, when I started coffee first, ang mga flavors that we offered are actually my favorites na mga menu. Based sa kasi game kog travel, makatilaw ko ginani nga blend or ginani nga kuan. Pero giusab lang na muna ang blend ana nga less acidity siya, more caffeine. Okay, more boost but less harmful sa tummy. So muna siyang ihang blend. Kay na magulay-lahi pod nga niche anong coffee no, like naay katong kumato kas premium gamay, like more on acidic, more on floral. So bali na siya sa coffee first is more on caffeine me, less acidic na among blend. So muna siyang nabuhat na siya. And then, so when we started coffee first actually, it's a part of our dev house, the X form. Murag freebie siya sa among mga devs na if you work for us, then you have free coffee. And then they like the menu. So we experimented it into a kiosk sa IT Park. And then ikusog man siya. So muna na siya ron. Like, I think Coffee First has now 9 branches. We're building our 10th branch basin early next year. Ni paspas na siya pod ni dako actually. So we're hoping na our coffee is good. Maybe that's the reason why it grew fast. But yeah, mo na siya ang sugod. It's part of the dev na ecosystem na mo, and then we started like selling it commercially na.
So they also say na entrepreneurs, this is you've shared about the tech side, no? But entrepreneurs also would often need a third space. Is this also what coffee is to you?
Third space. Basin, not physically nga space siguro, but maybe the strength. Kay I think ang effect magud sa coffee is mura siya booster nimo ba, diba? When you had coffee, murag nindot kayong conversations, ang mga ideas, and murag kag kanang empowered kay ka ba. So mura siya manang coffee fuels tech kay murag daghan kag mabuhat with coffee. Yeah.
And there's also a parallel about the communal sense of, for example, the tech product or company that you are advancing, which is relational, and
yes.
coffee also is advocating also
Yes.
for communal and relational. So now moving towards the final chapter. I like actually how it's being sequenced based on what you said earlier about the story. So you've navigated setbacks, pivots, and reinvention. So how do you personally handle failure or uncertainty?
Yeah, that's a very good question ha, cause like I think nakoy slide para ani like when I'm invited to some talk sa mga startup founders no na the way you approach mga good failures kinahanglan or challenges in general mura siya if you think of it as a stepping stone kay murag mulabang ka ba And the moment na ma-overcome nimo ni, then it becomes better. And kung makaagi na sad ka ni, murag i-treat mo siya as positive siya na nahitabo ba. Because number one, if what you're doing is so simple and easy, then a lot of people will be doing it. Diba? May number one. So number two, kung lisod kay imong gipang buhat and na-achieve nimo ni, then you're actually one step ahead sa imong competitors. So you will murag mo wish pa ka more nga daghan kag challenges nga magyan para paspas ka mahuman nimo ang katong face. No? So murag inana nga ako ang outlook siguro or kanang tan-aw or mindset in terms of challenges na if walay challenge ang imong gibuhat, then probably it's
Not teaching you anything.
not teaching you anything, and maybe it's not worth your while. And but the more challenges that you'll face, the more learnings that you'll get, and the more lisod imong gibuhat, probably basin lisod siya kanang gukuron, di ba? Mura siya ginana ba?
That's a good way of looking at adversities. I remember when it's not obvious, but I went through a fitness program, and then the coach back then noticed that I wasn't really serious about it. And so the coach gave me a pep talk, which is quite similar to what you said. He actually said that, sir, if you would just want to lift the weights that you can lift, you are wasting your time. Because if you want to grow your muscle, you have to lift something that you can hardly lift. And it was like, yeah, no. If I'm here for comfort, then I'm not growing anything.
Yes.
So I think that one is also a
Basta
good.
nindot sa tong business coach to imong coach.
Sounds like, no? Because now I also can bring it into business.
diba?
And I was reminded of that also with what you said about your attitude towards adversity, you know. Now if it's not teaching you anything because it's easier, then maybe it's not taking you anywhere.
Yeah.
Sige. So, looking back into the things that you were doing in the past before they got you here, was there a moment that you doubted also yourself?
A lot of times. Yeah, I think mo ni siya atong ganahan nga i-kuan sa atong aspiring startup founders ba na basin feeling ninyo na kamuray murag naka-feel of doubts, like a lot of times murag naka ng imposter syndrome ba na number one, ako ba ang sakto nga person to do this, no? Or like bisan sa coffee, no, I don't have background sa coffee ba. I enrolled for a barista class to know the basic, and then sa akong gipang buhat na mga recipe, like lami ba ni siya, like ako ganahan ko, but like is this really good
For
diba?
others.
Like, yeah, so kadaghan gid kay na siya nahitabo, and basically what you just do is you just launch it, do it, and then take feedback. And kung silang feedback, adjust it, i-recalibrate it. So mura lang siya ginana ba na instead of like kanang mura kag ma-disappointed nung ka or ma-depress ka, then just do it and then get the validation na ba siya data doesn't lie. Like if people buys it, then it should be good.
I'm sure you've also hang out with other entrepreneurs, and the common question, especially I think you covered this in the beginning about business failure, and it also comes with doubting oneself. The common terminology that's used, at least from my circle, is how long is the runway?
Runway.
I know it varies from industry to industry and the type of business, but what's and at least from the people you know and your experience, what's a comfortable runway na even if they're not taking off yet, they will say, this is part of the process?
Yeah. So I think it depends, no. Basin man good, like you just keep on agwantaing it.
Correct.
Na
And it's not taking
sobra
off.
na kayo ba.
Oh.
So that's why it's very important to do market validation. So market validation mo ang concept na is you need to validate if that particular pain point has takers or has buyers or has people willing to pay for that pain point to go away. So the moment na ma-validate na nimo, then your runway will just depends on your targets. For example, so target mo na I need to get this para I can have this revenue, or like if you're doing fundraising, I need to reach these metrics based on the market that I validated, and then that's basically your runway. No, and of course, runway wise meaning kinahanglan para ma-reach nimo ni dapat enough funding to get you there. Kung kuwang, di adjustan nimo imong runway. But basically what I'm trying to like highlight lang is kinahanglan kung naa kay inana, kinahanglan validated ang imuhang ganahan nga i-prove, or kung dili pa siya validated, then adjustan nimo imong budget. Because of course, when doing market validation, dili ka kanang dako kay kag kanang budget for that. Kay market validation pa man ka nga phase, no?
And then before we go back to the inspiring side, let's deal with something even real. No, although we don't want to talk about it, but it's real. When do you say that it's time to quit and venture for another startup instead of just insisting on this is like a long runway already?
So yeah, muna siya, related na siya sa akong gi-istorya ganina na you need to do market validation and you need to believe your data.
And
Okay.
what is it that we could
Yes.
say, this is time to
Because
Stop.
if the data doesn't make sense, like meaning ba, like mo ni akong gi-solution, and mo ni akong presyo, yes, daghan kay mga tao ganahan ani, but di man sila ganahan mo bayad sa inaning amount. Either you adjust your prices, or you add more features, or you add more services para mo kuan siya and then test again. But if the numbers doesn't make sense, you need to pivot yun. You need to either usbo nimo nga people will be willing to pay, or just move on. No, cause more na siya like, and again, there's no shame in like pivoting. It's a learning experience basically. So wala siya, dili siya kanang murag ang reason na lang nga di ka mohunong ba kay mauwaw ka. Kay basin tawgon ko nila na failure man ni. It's okay. It's normal. A lot of people are kanang experiencing that. Dili lang sa Philippines, but like bisan na mga sikat na mga startup founders, kadaghan na sila nakasuway na. So it's okay.
And on the lighter side now, okay, but we just wanted to deal with the little elephant in the room, no, so that we can move back to the lighter side. Did you have a side hustle? Because they would, when we were young, because normally they say that for every entrepreneur, they started with some side hustle when they were younger. Did you have something similar?
Daghan, yeah.
Sige.
Daghan. So, I think murag ang ako among childhood kay murag ko kanang di ko kahuwat nga budako ko and mo trabaho nako. Imagine na elementary pa lang going to school and hapon manghakot kog balas sand ba. Uso mo sa bawal man na ron no. So hakot kag balas and then bayran kag pila din na kay allowance, and then sa school I sell mga tamarindo kanang kuan ba ang inana, and then ang ako ang baon sa akong mom nga tagaan man mig pilam tong baon sa una piso dos. So ako nang i-save anya nipalit kog family computer. Dili for me to play, but akong gipabangan sa akong mga silingan. So marsig like creative ways na kanang maka-income ka and maka-add siya ko. Mao lagi na nagdili ko kahuwat nga budako nako ba nga para makatrabaho nako.
So there's always that want to add value and to
Yes.
to earn. No? So I know that our viewers, a lot of them are also dreaming of becoming an entrepreneur or a technopreneur or somebody as successful as you are, but they just feel that maybe they don't know anyone, they don't have enough funding, or they don't have any connection. What will you tell them?
So I think ang pinaka first gyud no kay you need to focus on your why you're doing it. No, like if as we discussed kanina, if it's kwarta-kwarta lang, then probably na dili pa kay siya kuan. But if there's a bigger reason why you wanna start it, then that helps in terms of starting it. And then when you're in the point of starting na something, kinahanglan nimo siya i-scale down sa first and test the market, validate the market in as much as least nga cost, and then usa pa nimo siya i-scale. Kailangan gyud uban na murag scaling is their target. Dili actually ang scaling. Actually ang target nimo is validated siya nga market before nimo siya padakon. Kaya nga naman, kung lugi kag piso sa usa, and 1,000 na siya, then lugi kag 1,000. Multiplier agad siya. Kung ni ginansya kag 100 sa usa, times mo siya 1,000 kung 1,000 na siya. So mo nang creating something na kanang ready for scale, i-measure sa nimo samtang gamay pa imong cost, mo pa ni siya imong gasto, kung na ba siya potential, validated ba siya.
So now we're about to end this chapter and the entire story. So one of my final question is what is next, for you?
Yeah, layo pa kay ko actually. So I think first I need to like make this Pasajob successful. We launched already in Metro Manila. We wanna bring it here in the Visayas and hopefully in Mindanao. Because I think dako pa kayo ang market gap ba. And then of course akong other ventures. The good thing with that magod sa like labi na specialist coffee, I think we managed to validate our market na kung asa mi nga niche. So marag na may mga target markets and now it's ready to scale. So I think ang goal nako now is to professionalize operations and then para scale niya dili na kay siya dako nga problema. And of course, my dev house, my venture builder DX form, we're still looking for some other tech startups that we can be part in. So basically, we're a venture builder. We invest in startup not by giving money, but by building the platform. So kung nangita mo ka ng scale na ready na kanang technology, kung validated na siya, then we're actually looking for partners na kanang ready na siya to scale. And then we can implement the technology side.
And this time, zooming out finally, what's also, in your view, what's also next for Filipino innovation or Filipino-made technology?
Yeah. So basically, kailangan mo mo adapt sa trend. The trend now is AI. So of course, we need to adapt para dili ta mabiyaan ba. And there are a lot of fears sa AI, diba? But at the end of the day, if you think of it as a tool to help you and like optimize it lang in terms of user experience sa nimo siya para mo sayo nimong trabaho, then it can be your friend basically, di ba? So and then bisan like building your own AI, it's very expensive, but there are a lot of platforms that you can actually use para you can build something on top of their platform na murag useful siya ba. For example, MyFolio. Like sa MyFolio, like the AI mock interviewer, it's built from existing mga AI platforms. But murag specific use case ba kung asa siya ma-applicable. So I think mauna na siya murag mahitabo ron. Maybe a lot of parang mga pain points can be solved with AI-powered mga technologies or applications. Specific, like kung sa una kay pure kani, but kanina na siya AI na component. I think mauna siya ma-trend na in terms of sa technology startups sa Philippines.
I think that's a good way for us to also end this interview. And while Kenneth is bringing back the prompter, I'd like to thank you for guesting us today. And if there's one takeaway that I'm getting from this conversation, whether it's technology, whether it's life, whether it's work, whether it's entrepreneurship, it's really how we manage adversity and also lift other people along the way that defines our path. So thank you for joining us today. And that wraps up this edition of Beyond the Headlines. We hope today's conversation helped shed light on the bigger picture behind the story. Once again, we'd like to thank our guest, Mr. Eddie Ybañez, for helping us connect the dots in ways that matter. And thank you for being with us today. I'm DJ Moises. Thank you and good afternoon.